Imagine standing in the tunnel of a stadium in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Just, right beyond the concrete. There are 90,000 screaming fans. You have the absolute best tactical training money can buy.
Right.
You are part of the most talented squad your country has literally ever produced.
Yeah, the golden generation.
Exactly. The entire weight of the American sports media is resting squarely on your shoulders. And now, imagine freezing on the very first pass.
Wow. I mean, it's a terrifying prospect, honestly.
It really is.
Because, we always talk about sports in terms of like clinical analysis, right?
Right.
Formation, statistics, expected goal.
The spreadsheets.
Yeah, exactly. The spreadsheets. We want to believe that if you have the right metrics, you can perfectly predict the winner.
But the reality of tournament football is, well, it's never that clean.
Never.
So welcome to today's deep dive. Today is June 8th, 2026.
Which means we are exactly 4 days away from the kickoff of the 2026 World Cup.
Yes. And we are looking at a tactical landscape in Group D that reads less like a logical spreadsheet and honestly way more like the script of a psychological thriller.
It really does. Group D features the United States, Turkey, Australia, and Paraguay.
Right.
And to navigate this specific group today, we're relying on a single, highly opinionated source.
Oh, yeah. We are pulling directly from the quote-unquote infallible manifesto of a channel known as the Armchair Galactico.
It's a great channel.
It is. If you haven't come across his work, just picture a satirical, supremely confident, yet, beautifully self-deprecating football pundit who refuses to ever leave his couch.
Right, he's the ultimate armchair expert.
Exactly. He delivers these edgy, dry, wildly over-the-top hot takes that somehow, cut right to the absolute truth of the game.
Yeah.
So we are just the grateful interpreters of his couch-bound wisdom today.
And what makes this manifesto so valuable is that he completely strips away the polite media training.
Oh, totally.
He doesn't care about PR at all. He looks right at the raw nerve of these teams. And his core thesis for Group D is that it is the ultimate psychological experiment.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We have to start with the team trying to engineer a, sterile, perfectly controlled environment for success.
The co-hosts.
Yeah, the United States men's national team. The Galactico calls this America's big moment.
Right, and the foundation of this moment is built entirely around their manager, Mauricio Pochettino.
Yep.
The Galactico really emphasizes his Premier League tactical pedigree.
Which is huge.
It is, but what that actually means on the pitch is a demand for high-intensity pressing and strict positional discipline.
Right, Pochettino teams don't just sit back.
No, not at all. They try to win the ball high up the field to just completely suffocate the opponent.
Yeah.
But doing that requires incredible physical stamina and a perfectly synchronized team.
And the Galactico argues that, well, for the first time, the U.S. actually has the players to execute that kind of complex European system.
Right.
This isn't just a plucky team of hard workers anymore. They are incredibly well-resourced.
Totally.
You've got Christian Pulisic, the 84-cap fulcrum of the operation.
Yeah.
And he is arriving sharpened by Serie A football at AC Milan, which means he's spent the last few years navigating some of the most tactically rigid and defensive defenses in the entire world.
Exactly. Pulisic is the face of it, but the structural integrity really comes from the spine of the team.
Right.
You have Fuller and Balogun leading the attacking line. I mean, he's coming off a 19-goal season for Monaco.
Incredible season.
Yeah, and what makes Balogun dangerous isn't just his shooting. It's his intelligent movement.
Mm.
He constantly plays off the shoulder of the last defender, and that drags center backs out of position.
Which creates pockets of space for players like Pulisic to run into.
Exactly.
Then you add the midfield engine room, right? Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams.
Yeah, the manifesto actually calls Adams the absolute voice of this team.
Oh, for sure. When the intensity spikes and the game gets chaotic, Adams is the guy whose literal job is to anticipate the opponent's passing lanes, step in, win the ball, and then distribute it cleanly to just kill the opponent's momentum.
Right.
Add Malik Tillman for that final pass of creative quality, and, on paper, they are a powerhouse.
They are. Which brings us to the Galactico's edgy verdict. His identified fatal flaw for the United States.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, he points directly at their history.
Yep.
Because for all this unprecedented elite European club talent, the USA has only reached one World Cup quarterfinal in their entire history.
Way back in 2002.
Right.
And, okay, here is the quote from the manifesto that honestly gave me chills. Quote, "This is USA's tournament or it is nothing."
Man, It's an incredibly sharp assessment.
It is massive. I mean, he's basically arguing that if they don't reach the quarterfinals at their home World Cup,
Right.
playing in front of their own massive crowds, with Pochettino pulling the strings and Pulisic at his absolute peak, then this entire generation will forever be defined by failure. Like, it won't even matter what they win with their clubs in Europe.
The reasoning is mathematically sound, honestly.
Yeah,
They have the most favorable set of circumstances any team could ever construct.
they really do.
But the Galactica warns about the psychological mechanics of that exact home court advantage.
You know, reading his breakdown, it feels like the U.S. team is a former child prodigy who is, like, finally sitting down to take the bar exam.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Yeah, right. Like, they've had all the most expensive, elite tutoring in the world. They are taking the test in their own living room. But what happens to the human brain when you realize that if you freeze on question number 1, literally everybody you know is watching?
Yeah, that paralysis of expectation is a very real phenomenon in sports.
Totally.
Tournament football requires a very specific neurochemistry. The Galactico actually calls it collective calmness.
Collective calmness. I like that.
Yeah, because in a domestic league, you play 38 games. If you lose one, you analyze the video on Monday and you just try again next weekend.
Right. There's always another game.
But in the World Cup, a single bad half of football can end 4 years of preparation.
So how does a crowd of 90,000 people in Los Angeles change that chemistry? I mean, we always assume a home crowd is a 12th man that pushes you forward, right?
Well, they are an energizing force when things are going well.
Yeah.
But a crowd that massive is basically a living, breathing organism.
Okay.
If the U.S. struggles to break down an opponent early, or if they give away a sloppy pass the first 15 minutes, the crowd's anxiety becomes audible.
You can literally hear the groans.
Exactly. You can hear it. And the players feel that tension.
Wow.
The expectation stops being a tailwind, and it becomes a physical, suffocating weight pressing down on their shoulders.
Right.
Suddenly, a simple 5-yard pass feels like it weighs 100 pounds.
That is so intense. But, while the U.S. is desperately trying to manage that crushing expectation and engineer this perfectly rigid, controlled environment,
Yeah.
the next team in our group is doing the exact opposite.
Go completely.
They are practically thriving on instability. We are moving from American structure to Turkish drama.
Turkey. The team, the Galactico, affectionately dubs the Agents of Chaos.
I love that. Under their Italian manager, Vincenzo Montella, they have assembled what the manifesto calls the most exciting Turkish team in years.
It really is.
The attacking talent is genuinely generational.
The profile here is just absurd. You have Arda Güler, right? A 21-year-old Real Madrid prodigy.
Yeah.
And the way Güler plays is specifically designed to dismantle the exact kind of rigid structures we just talked about with the U.S.
Oh, interesting.
He utilizes direct dribbling in incredibly tight spaces.
Right.
When a defense is perfectly organized, you need someone who can simply beat 2 men in a phone booth to collapse that structure.
And he's partnered with Kenan Yıldız from Juventus.
Yeah.
The Galactico says this partnership is the most lethal young pairing Turkey has produced in decades.
Easily.
Plus, they aren't just a bunch of kids running wild, right? They are anchored by Hakan Çalhanoğlu from Inter Milan.
Yeah, Çalhanoğlu is a Champions League winner, and honestly, more importantly, he is the midfield metronome.
Right, the metronome.
Yeah, for those unfamiliar with the term, a metronome in football is the player who dictates the entire rhythm of the team.
He sets the pace.
Exactly. He decides if they're going to play a slow, probing possession game or suddenly hit a 60-yard pass to launch a lightning-fast counterattack.
Yeah.
You add in solid defenders like Mary Demiral and Premier League quality goalkeeping with Altay Bayındır, and the foundation looks rock solid.
So they have the talent and they have the veteran metronome,
Right.
which is why the Galactico's fatal flaw for them is so incredibly funny to me.
Oh, it's classic.
He leans into his driest persona and writes, quote, "Turkish football is a soap opera with a football competition attached."
It's so true, though. He argues that their outcome in this tournament is completely binary and entirely unknowable.
Yes. He explicitly says they could absolutely humiliate the USA in front of their home crowd, and it wouldn't be a shock.
Right.
But they could also lose to Australia, and that would also make perfect sense.
Exactly.
His hot take is that they will either be the most dazzling team in the tournament or cause a full-blown internal crisis within the first 45 minutes of their opening match.
Because Montella, the manager, literally cannot control which version of the team shows up.
Right.
The individual brilliance is undeniable, but the collective reliability is just fundamentally absent.
Now, I have to push back on the Galactico just a little bit here.
Okay, let's hear.
This is where I struggle with his manifesto.
Hmm.
If you have Shahanalu, a guy whose entire highly paid job is to be the brain of the team, right? To
Yeah.
read the game and instill calmness,
Yeah.
how can the structure still be that inconsistent?
Well, think of it like an orchestra. The string section might be playing Mozart brilliantly, but the percussion section is randomly improvising heavy metal.
Oh, man.
Right. Individually, they are all talented musicians. But structurally, the timing is completely disconnected.
So a great conductor can't fix a drummer who just refuses to read the sheet music.
Precisely. And, in international football, managers only get the players for a few weeks a year.
Right, it's not a club team.
Exactly. You don't have the time to drill complex, synchronized defensive movements through endless repetition like you do at a club.
Yeah.
So when a team like Turkey faces sudden pressure, say, they concede an early goal.
Right.
They don't have deeply ingrained defensive habits to fall back on. The emotional momentum simply overrides the tactical instruction.
Wow.
The players try to fix the problem individually rather than systematically.
Basically, the vibe takes over the strategy.
Exactly.
And that emotional volatility sets up what the Galactico calls the defining match of the group. Match day 3, June 25th, the USA versus Turkey.
Right. This is essentially the Group D final.
Yep.
The winner likely takes first place. And finishing first means you get a much kinder draw in the round of 32 playing a weaker opponent.
Right.
Finishing second, though, throws you right into the meat grinder of the knockout stages against a tournament favorite.
It is the ultimate clash of styles. You have Pochettino's desperate need for defensive discipline and structure going directly up against the sheer creative chaos of Güler and Yildiz.
Yeah.
It's Tyler Adams trying to forcefully impose order against Şahanoglu, trying to orchestrate unpredictability.
Turkey absolutely has the raw attacking quality to win that match.
For sure.
But the USA has the organizational discipline and, of course, the home crowd.
Right.
It will really come down to which team's underlying psychology fractures first.
Yeah.
Will the USA crack under the expectation, or will Turkey's structure dissolve the moment they face adversity?
Okay, so we've explored the suffocating anxiety of the USA and the theatrical chaos of Turkey.
Yep.
But what about the other two teams in Group D? The teams the Galactica calls the pragmatic underdogs, Australia and Paraguay.
Their role in this group is fascinating
Yeah.
because their sole mission is to be the kryptonite to the favorites.
Starting with Paraguay, La Alberoa.
Right.
They are returning to the World Cup under manager Gustavo Alfaro, and the Galactico points out they are built entirely on traditional South American defensive grit.
Yes. They utilize what is called a low block.
Okay.
Tactically, this means they literally do not care about having the ball.
At all.
At all. They will happily let the USA or Turkey pass it around midfield all day. Paraguay will drop all 10 outfield players deep into their own half, forming two tight, compact lines of defense right in front of their penalty area.
So the goal is to mathematically remove the space.
Exactly.
So a player like Pulisic or Güler, who relies on finding little gaps to run into, suddenly finds a wall of 3 defenders every single time he touches the ball.
Right. It requires immense concentration and physicality.
Yeah.
And Paraguay has the personnel for it. Their 33-year-old captain, Gustavo Gomez, has 88 caps playing in South America. He knows every dark art of defending, how to break up the rhythm, how to draw a foul, how to make the game as ugly and disjointed as possible.
The dark arts.
Yeah. They also have Miguel Almiron and Diego Gomez in midfield to provide quick outlets if they do manage to steal the ball.
But the Galactico's fatal flaw for Paraguay is brutal.
It really is.
He simply states, they open the tournament against the United States in Los Angeles.
Yeah, imagine a team built to absorb pressure, having to withstand the emotional hurricane of 90,000 fans demanding an American victory on opening day.
Just relentless noise.
The psychological toll of that is staggering. A low block only works if the defense remains perfectly synchronized.
Right.
If one player loses focus because of the noise and steps a yard out of line, the whole system collapses.
Then you have Australia, the Socceroos, managed by Tony Popovich.
Right.
The Galactico notes this is their 6th consecutive World Cup, which is, a massive achievement for their national development.
Oh, absolutely. Popovich has built them into a notoriously stubborn unit.
Yeah. Similar to Paraguay, they're incredibly difficult to break down. But they aren't entirely devoid of attacking spark. The manifesto highlights Nestor Irankunda, a young winger at Watford.
Right.
He brings explosive, direct pace.
The strategy there is classic counterattacking.
Yeah.
You absorb pressure for 85 minutes, you wait for the opponent to get frustrated and push too many players forward, and then you just launch the ball to Irankunda to create something from absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
Plus, they have Matt Ryan in goal, a veteran who has played at the highest levels in Europe and, won't be rattled by the occasion.
Yet, the Galactico does not hold back on their fatal flaw either.
Oh, he goes right in.
He bluntly states that Australia's absolute ceiling in this group is second place, and that requires a complete structural implosion from Turkey.
Ouch.
They simply do not possess the baseline individual quality to dominate the ball against top-tier teams.
Now, wait. Is the Galactico being a little too arrogant from his couch here?
Well, think about the psychological pressure cooker we've been discussing. Couldn't a deeply organized team like Paraguay or Australia,
Right.
teams with absolutely zero media pressure on them, teams perfectly content to make the game boring and sit back for 89 minutes?
Yeah.
Couldn't they be the exact weapon needed to exploit a nervous U.S. or a volatile Turkey? I mean, frustration makes incredibly talented players do very stupid things.
You're touching on the very essence of how massive tournament upsets happen.
Right.
Frustration is absolutely a weapon.
Yeah.
The longer the game stays 0-0, the heavier the legs get for the favorites.
Yeah.
The crowd gets restless. A team like Paraguay can weaponize that anxiety.
They make you bleed for every single inch of grass.
They do. However, the Galactico's harsh assessment is grounded in the brutal reality of tournament math.
Okay.
A low block is fantastic for not losing, but eventually you have to score to advance.
Right.
The sheer volume of defending required saps the energy you need to counterattack effectively.
Oh, that makes sense.
So while Australia will never be outright embarrassed they're going to lose 5-0, and Paraguay will create massive headaches.
Yeah.
Their most realistic ambitions are what the manifesto calls respectful exits.
So they exist in this ecosystem primarily as a brutal stress test.
Exactly.
They are the final exam for the top two teams. They ask the question, can Pochettino's system actually pick a locked door?
Yeah.
Can Montella's chaotic orchestra find harmony when there is zero space to operate?
They force the favorites to prove they deserve to advance.
So when the dust finally settles across the stadiums in California, where does our couch-bound oracle see this ending up?
The Galactico's infallible projection is highly specific.
Oh, of course it is.
He predicts the United States wins the group with 7 points.
Okay.
That means 2 wins and a draw, navigating the pressure successfully. Turkey scrapes through in second place with 6 points, likely surviving their own internal soap opera just long enough to advance.
And the underdogs?
Paraguay finishes third with 3 points. They manage to steal a win, probably causing misery for someone, but they still go home.
Right.
And Australia packs their bags with just 1 point from a single hard-fought draw, finishing at the bottom.
A respectful exit, but an exit nonetheless.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the mandatory supreme decree from the Galactico himself. He demands action from you, the listener.
Here we go.
Quote, "The couch has spoken. Build your own prediction at bracketmachine.app. Join the Intergalactico Challenge with code Z9U8XX.
It is perfectly in character for him to demand that millions of people test their logic against his singular genius.
Oh, he fully expects us all to fail. Again, that code is Z9U8XX at bracketmachine.app.
Yep.
But before we wrap up today's deep dive into the manifesto, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. Something that builds on the psychology we've been exploring.
The broader implications of this group.
Yes. Think about the Galactico's prediction. If he is right and Mauricio Pochettino actually manages to unlock this U.S. generation, if they find that collective calmness, handle the suffocating weight of 90,000 fans, and dominate on home soil,
Yeah.
what does that actually mean for the global landscape of the sport?
It alters the entire paradigm.
It really does. For over a century, global football has been monopolized by Europe and South America. They are the sole arbiters of the beautiful game.
Completely.
But if the United States, the single most lucrative, massive, media-driven sports market on the planet, finally figures out how to translate their resources into winning at the world's most popular game, does the center of gravity permanently shift? Does the power dynamic of global football move across the Atlantic for good?
It's the ultimate systemic disruption.
The tragicomedy of Group D might just end up being the prologue to a heroic epic. The players are in the tunnel, the fatal flaws are exposed, and the stage is set.
I can't wait.
The curtain is about to rise. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We'll catch you next time.